Alright everyone, welcome to Tuesday's video. I hope you're still smiling if you're anything like me. It was an enjoyable week, very enjoyable weekend. The enjoyment has continued even into today. Just as a wee example, just as I was planning for this video, I stuck Clyde Super Scoreboard on in the background and it was a very enjoyable listen. My highlight being the 38-year-old Rangers fan who called up and said that he doesn't expect his team to win a league title before his 50th birthday. Wow. It seemed like quite a switched on, educated guy as well, so that kind of made it even sweeter to hear something like that. Okay, we're going to chat a little bit more about the weekend, just a little bit, and then there's a few things from actually prior to Sunday's game that we haven't had a chance to chat about yet. Champions League stuff, squad depth stuff, so let's do it. It's funny actually going from last week when everything was happening. It was totally hectic, and the tough thing for someone like me trying to run a YouTube channel was actually finding a place to talk about all of this stuff, because there was just so much happening and it just felt like it was all happening at once. And then you get into Sunday, it goes brilliantly, and suddenly bang, you're into the first international break of the season, and suddenly you've gone from everything happening last week to not a great deal happening at the moment. But there are still some things we can talk about. One thing that I've picked out from Sunday's game, because I think I've spoken for like the best part of an hour on it over the previous couple of videos, but one thing that did come out was a bit on Luke McCowan from Callum McGregor, and Callum McGregor revealing what he said to our new signing when he took to the pitch on Sunday. I think he came on actually just after McGregor's goal to make it 3-0. McGregor quoted as saying, "When you come into a game like that, it's always good to have your mates around you and just look after them and the new guys, just settle them in. I just said to him, go and play, you've got massive quality, just go and run about. I'll be with you, so let's just go." He was fantastic when he came on. To be thrown into a game like that, big expectation, big pressure, he was excellent. It's just a little quote, a tiny quote from Callum McGregor, but it shows what a brilliant captain he is. You've got a guy, Luke McCowan, and I was looking at Luke on Sunday when he came on thinking, you must not be able to believe what is happening to you. Like, Dundee are a big club by Scottish football terms. I actually quite like Dundee, doing really well this season. But he's gone from like whoever they were playing at the weekend, I can't quite remember, and preparing for that game, to coming out on as a sub in a Celtic versus Rangers match in front of 60,000 supporters all screaming their heads off. It must just be a ridiculous thing for himself and his family to get their heads around. And I guess to have someone like Callum McGregor taking the pressure off him, just saying, just go and do your thing, I'm here for you on the pitch, is fabulous. And it's just another sign of the skipper that Callum McGregor is. I thought McCowan actually did quite well on Sunday, and the reason I say actually is because, you know, hell of a debut to be thrown on. I know we were well up in the game, but I thought he got involved and you know, was doing little things here and there. Had a couple of wee runs with the ball. I thought Engels looked good as well when he came on, so I'm quite excited about seeing those two going forward. As for Callum McGregor, just buzzing that he's going to be off during this international break. He's spoken a bit about switching off a little, feeling fresh for things returning. So yeah, I mean, it's just brilliant news from a Celtic point of view, isn't it, that Callum McGregor is going to have his feet up probably for a couple of days, and is just going to be raring to go when we come back. It's fabulous news. I'll touch on the players who've got away in international duty at the end of this video. Just before then, I want to talk UEFA Champions League. The fixtures came out Saturday lunchtime, the finalised fixtures. Went a little bit under the radar, it's fair to say, given that we were all preparing for Sunday's derby and we had just broken our transfer record and signed 2 other players on deadline day. But these are the fixtures that we're looking at. 8 of them, obviously, in this new UEFA Champions League format, 4 at home, 4 away. Now, keep in mind that 10 points is the number we should be aiming for. It will almost certainly guarantee knockout football after January. 8 or 9 points could do it too. 10 almost certainly will. So I think 10 points is what we should be aiming for. And yeah, what do I make of those fixtures? I'm looking at fixtures 4 to 7 as a huge opportunity for us. 3 of those games at Celtic Park. The other one away from home is going to be tough. Obviously, all of these games are going to be tough in their own way. But, Dynamo Zagreb away from home is a game that, we should be trying to win and certainly not lose. So, yeah, match day 1 is a huge opportunity for the team. I think that's such a strange fixture in many ways, because I would assume we're going to be big favourites to win that match. Slovan Bratislava aren't going to be a bad team. They've come through qualifying. I think they beat Midtjylland in the final qualifying round. But we're going to be big favourites to win a match at Champions League level. And I can't really remember the last time that we'll have been such big favourites in, a Champions League proper match. I was thinking all the way back maybe to like Aalborg. What was that, in like 2008? And we didn't even win that one from memory. It was a 0-0 draw. Barry Robson missed a penalty. So maybe there's a lesson there. We clearly can't take anything for granted in this competition. We are not good enough at this level to do that. We've won like one match in what feels like about 40 years at that level. But I do think it's going to be an interesting match, that first one, because you're going to be going into it. You're going to have all the Champions League stuff, the anthem and all that kind of stuff. But there's going to be an expectancy at Celtic Park as well. It's going to be interesting to see how the team deal with that. To be fair to them, there was big expectancy on Sunday, and we dealt with it really well. Actually, as I said yesterday, I happen to think Slovan Bratislava will be more of a test for us than Rangers were on Sunday. But what an opportunity to win that game. You then go into Dortmund away, Atalanta away. If you're honest, you're probably not expecting anything from either of those two matches. Champions League runners-up from last season, Europa League winners, both away from home. If we can get a point from those two matches, it'll be a pretty good result. Leipzig at home, you're wanting the Thunder to arrive that night. Sorry, a bit of Neil Lennon-ism there. You're looking to win that game, aren't you? Worst case scenario, get a draw. I think, those first 4 games, 6 points should be the target for me. I think if we take 6 points from those first 4 games, we'll be in a wonderful position. You can maybe even accept 4, because I do think going into the matches after that, Club Brugge at home, Dinamo Zagreb away, Young Boys at home, those 3 matches are the ones you're really looking at as getting a bit of momentum built up. Especially with the 2 games at Celtic Park. So, potentially you take 6 points from those 3 matches. You take 4 from the first 4. You're already at 10 before you even get to Aston Villa, and you should be in the knockout rounds. I think those fixtures actually, in a strange way, look a bit tougher now that they're actually written down. You know the order of them than when we got the draw out. Like, there's some really challenging matches there. I mean, Leipzig are a top side. Dortmund, Atalanta, Aston Villa, top sides. And then you're looking at champions of countries mainly, aren't you? Young Boys are the champions of Switzerland. Slovan Bratislava are the champions of Slovakia. Dinamo Zagreb are the champions of Croatia. Who am I missing? Yeah, Club Brugge are the champions of Belgium as well. So, even the matches, the ones that you maybe look at being teams away from the top leagues, away from Italy and England and Germany, we're up against champions. So I think it's still going to be a formidable challenge, but I fancy it, everyone. I really fancy those run of 8 matches. I don't think there's anything massive to fear for us there. I think we'll be competitive in all of the games. It's just about how many of those, being competitive in a game we can turn into points on the board. That's going to be the big thing. Final match, as I said, is against Aston Villa. In an ideal world, we'd already be through at that stage. Who knows what their situation will be? They could already be through at that stage as well. It's going to be a big game for John McGinn as well, who, as you will probably know, is a huge Celtic fan, was a big Celtic fan growing up. He never shuts up about Henrik Larsson. That's the reason he has number 7 on his back at Aston Villa. We all know the story about how close we were to signing him with Brendan Rodgers as our manager the first time. He's played against us previously with Hibs, but not since then. And he's going to do it again for Aston Villa, you would think. And he's been speaking about that prospect. You always have your team that you support growing up. It never leaves you. But when you play for a club, that's the team you support and you've got a job to do. It never affected me as a player. I made my St Mirren debut against Celtic. I always managed to do all right against them. So hopefully it's the same in January. Was I hoping to get Celtic? Not really. Family and friends, they always want to come and see the biggest of games. But when it was Celtic, the phone was going off the hook. I thought about it and I thought, nah, I'd have rather somebody else because nobody would want to come and see Monaco at home. Bit harsh on Monaco, but I get what John McGinn is saying. The club did release their 4-match package to season ticket holders yesterday. The adult package is priced at £184. That's £46 per match, if my maths is correct. Yes, just doubt myself for a second. It is. That was the same per match cost as last season. Obviously, last season it was for 3 games. This time it's 4 games. I think it's a pretty fair price. I think that's the general consensus. It's not cheap. The club could probably have charged more. I think we would have been fearing it would have been nearer or even over £200. Possibly if we'd get more glamorous matches, it may have been at that. I don't know if the club could have charged much more than that, given that the home matches Slovan Bratislava, Leipzig, Club Brugge and Young Boys does feel a little bit more Europa League than Champions League, if I'm honest, especially when you compare it to some of the teams we've seen at Celtic Park over the past couple of seasons, like Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, etc. But yeah, I think Celtic Park's obviously going to be packed out for those 4 matches. And as I said earlier, I guess it's the champions of Belgium, Switzerland and Slovakia coming to town. So maybe that's really what the Champions League should be about. Right, transfer window closed late on Friday. That's been well covered. Our business in and out leaves the squad looking like this for the next 4 months at least. And yes, I know people always say, oh, you missed him, you missed that. I know that the likes of Francis Turley and Matt Anderson may feature this season, but this is proven senior first team players, and it just keeps it nice and simple. And we seem to be relatively well stocked around the pitch. Certainly, if we go through them, I'm pretty happy with the goalkeeper situation. Kasper Schmeichel looks like a great signing. Right back, yep, fine. Left back, we'll wait and see with Alex Valle, but at least we've signed a left back. Centre back wise, yeah, I think that's what we're hoping for. Again, we'll need to see what Austin Trusty is like. Certainly Liam Scales, if he does end up being a backup player, would be a pretty good one to have. I firmly believe that. Midfield, and a few people disagreed with me when I posted online, but I felt looking at this midfield, as strong as it is, and I know it looks a bit stronger now that Paulo Bernardo played so well on Sunday, and suddenly you've got like 4 fantastic options, and then Luke McCowan and Odin Thiago home. My point about it online just being maybe one player short, just if we were to get like a couple of injuries at the same time, you would then be looking at someone like Luke McCowan or Odin Thiago home starting games for us in there. We have lost a number of players in midfield over the summer window. When you think to Matt O'Reilly, obviously, and Tomoki Iwata, and Huku Kwon, Daniel Kelly was another one. I'm not sure if there was anyone else. Bosun Luau. Lost a lot of players in there that may have featured, may not have featured. Listen, it's fine. I don't think there's major dramas at the moment. I just would maybe be slightly concerned if we got a couple of injuries in there. Left wing, yep, love Daizen Maeda. I'm not convinced in Lewis Palmer, but fine. Right wing seems to be pretty well stocked. Not sure how much of Hyun-Yun Yang we'll see this season. And up top, as much as we maybe wanted 3 strikers, it's pretty clear Daizen Maeda is our third option there behind Kyogo and Ida. And just briefly, if we turn to international duty, these are the players that are away over the next fortnight. 15, I believe, there, if my counting is correct. Yeah, Kasper Schmeichel obviously away with Denmark, Sinizalo away with Finland, you've got Alistair Johnson with Canada, Anthony Ralston, Greg Taylor, James Forrest all away with Scotland. We do have a US player away. It's not Cameron Carter-Vickers. Austin Trusty is away. Just by the way, on Cameron Carter-Vickers, there was a bit of concern, I think, when there was like a video or a photo posted after the game on Sunday of him leaving Celtic Park with like one of those daft protective boots on. There's been a report since then saying that he should be fine to return for his, not even return for his, sorry, he's not missed any time, but should be fine for the game against Hearts in less than a fortnight. So no real worries there with Cameron Carter-Vickers. But Austin Trusty is away with the US, Liam Scales with the Republic of Ireland. Midfield, Arnie Engels away with Belgium. Not bad. Rio Hatate and Daisen Maeda with Japan. Paulo Bernardo with Portugal's 21s. Odin Holm with Norway's 21s. And Adam Ida also away with the Republic of Ireland. So yeah, you can see a couple of the players there that have been left behind. Callum McGregor, Kyogo not away, Kuhn not away. So not bad, all things considered. Right, that's your lot for today, everyone. Thanks for watching once again. Back tomorrow, and we're going to have a bit of fun.